Welcome back to the channel. Today, after the last drift event, I actually smacked into the wall. I will insert a clip here. Within the first two corners, transitioned a little too close and snapped into the wall. I did a little damage to the front end of this side. So I put the tire into the wall, which took a lot of the impact, but it also crunched my fender and then it twisted up the control arm. I will show you that in a minute. I have to lift up the car and kind of assess the damage before I go ahead and buy any other types of parts to replace what's broken. So I will get right into it and I will chime back in when the car is in the air. Oh, there's dirt underneath in my bumper and it just went all over my face. I'm gonna show this on the camera real quick because that's my tire was pushed back so hard that it rubbed off the paint on the fender and stuff too. This fender looks jacked up. Oh no. My upper control arm is bent too. Oh. Dang it. That's more money. Alright, so I will give you guys an update real quick of what it looks like with the tire off. The damage on the fender, it like pressed it flat on the inside of the wheel well, probably 3 inches, and it bent it over. Plus there's like a 2-inch tear right there, which I can sand the paint off. As long as I can get the fender pulled out, I can sand that paint off and use my 025 wire and tack weld that back together. Pinched it up on the top a little bit, but then from the top center forward is fine. It's just the back side. Getting up inside here where this big kink is might be kind of tough. I don't think I'll be able to get a hammer in there and hammer it out. Thought I could maybe get my roller up there, but I don't know. I can maybe take the whole fender off and try and roll it from there. The paint didn't crack though, so that's nice. 25-year-old paint, it stayed in one piece. So looking at it straight on from the outside here, you can see the control arm is also twisted down, and then the coilover is pressed backwards, but I think the coilover is just kind of twisted a little bit. It doesn't look like anything is broke on the bottom side there. So that's maybe a plus, but the lower control arm, that's a or the upper control arm, excuse me, that's kind of a bummer. I'm gonna need bushings as well, because that looks like that's kind of smashed in the top. The bottom bushing down here is squished. The front bushing on the bottom is really squished. Hopefully it's not too busted up there, because that looks like it's pulled really hard. The tie rod end link, or it looks okay. The tie rod's straight. The sway bar end link is pulled really tight and that bracket's bent, but that's part of the lower control arm, so I'll be able to replace that and that's fine. If you get a straight on shot of the lower control arm, you can see where it's bent and twisted, and then underneath it's kinked, kind of like right there. So it twisted upwards on the part that comes out from the frame, and then down on the inside it twisted down, and that's where that kink is right there. For being a 1-inch plate control arm, it took a lot of the damage, which is good because then it doesn't look like the frame rail under there is tweaked at all. The tabs and stuff are still in place and look pretty straight. But sorry for how dark it is in here. I'm just using my phone flashlight, but I'll take some measurements on the passenger side and take measurements on the driver's side and see that everything is still straight. I can go based off the bolt hole on the engine motor mount and just pull off of there, because that's kind of a center point between the two mounts, and then maybe off of the top of this shock tower here. Hopefully, oh, that looks pretty twisted up there too. Hopefully my shock is okay. This is always the hard part of looking at damage, is finding out that there's more damage than you originally had hoped for, or you don't really hope for damage ever, but it's more damage than you originally thought. So I'll start taking some stuff off. It looks like the knuckle though. The knuckle is a little more expensive than everything else. That looks like it's in one piece. So at least I don't have to replace that. So yeah, I'll set this down and then I'll start kind of wrenching on this a little bit. It is getting kind of late outside. Maybe I'll have to call it and do a day 2 with this too, but I'll start taking some stuff apart. All right, we're gonna start with taking off the tie rod end link, because that's the easiest open available part. I didn't even bring the Miata key down here because I'm gonna need it to be able to take this end link off. Maybe not. No, just kidding. It's coming off. Maybe I will. I don't know. Doesn't want to come off. Shucks. I don't want to hurt the knuckle. Oh, I got it. All right. So it's gonna be hard to see. It's a little dark in here. Well, let me grab my phone. I have light on still. So looking straight on at this, it's still pretty tricky to see. So you got the end link looking straight, and then it starts to curve off to the right side a little bit. So unfortunately the tie rod is bent, not very much, so I wonder if it's still usable. Just on the threads, that's like the weakest point in there. Maybe I can get it to straighten out again. Otherwise maybe I can still use this too, but shucks. Oh yeah, it dug into that really hard too. It took a chunk out of the side of the end link block. Rough. Alright, well, I'll keep taking stuff apart. It's under pressure and it might fly apart. Yep, there it went. It just threw that bolt across the shop, so. Where did it go? I need a set of ratcheting wrenches, because that would make this so much easier, especially in a tight space. £4, the big one. There it went. Sometimes you just gotta bring out the big tools when you're like, I ain't messing around no more. All right, now I need a needle nose pliers. Got this cotter pin in there. because then this is gonna come off and hang, and this is heavy. Hopefully it doesn't hurt my brake line. Don't need to wreck a steel line because then I would have to replace a line as well. It's got a little stretch to it, but I think it'll be okay. Maybe I'll grab a couple blocks of wood because I have extra blocks. I'll do that. I don't want to damage that line to take the wood. All right, so I got the upper kind of disconnected. Ooh, it scuffed up the threads on that bad. Dang it. I don't lower my car that low anyway, so the damaged threads there isn't going to be that much of a concern for me. I'm going to take the lower out first and disconnect the strut in here so that it's not twisted and stuff, and I'll see if that's damaged too. If the strut's damaged, that could be problematic because that's another $1,500 because you can't just buy one coilover, you have to buy a set of 4. So let's hope that it's okay. Oh yeah, okay. The coilover bounced back straight, so I did crush the bushing a little bit. I'm wondering if I can take a vice grip and straighten that back out, or tap it or something. Yeah, it moved. Okay. So I think my coilover is good. Yay! I don't have to spend $1,500 on the wands yet that I know of. Make a line here because I don't want to change my alignment because it was set up really good. I'm sorry, I just shined the light right at the camera. That doesn't help. That doesn't help you guys. I have the alignment set up exactly where I wanted it to. It had enough self-steer so when you let go of the wheel and at angle, it would like flip to the other side without having to manually steer it. So I have the caster set up right. I have the toe set up right. I just gotta match. I just have to match all of those settings when I put it back together with new parts, and it'll be good. Hopefully this bolt isn't broken, because I don't want to have to replace the eccentric bolt. Those are somewhat expensive. Unless I can find something in the junkyard. It is a 14, okay. Maybe my caster was not all the way forward because I just turned that and it pulled it really far. Ooh, there was a crunch. Stay up. That is a noisy part. Completely shot. There we go. The eccentric bolt is still good. It's not real bent that I can tell. So that's good. All right, this came out. Oh yeah, that bushing is shot. It is toasted. At least, so that's the other thing. So this is the other thing that saved me with not having more expensive stuff. So a lot of people will buy control arms or stuff like that, and they have like spherical heim joint or something where these are. So this is kind of like a similar heim joint or like some sort of ball joint, but they would have this back there and it would make it more solid. At least with these rubber poly bushings, the bushing smashed. so it took a lot of the force as well. I mean, you can look at it from here. It's pretty twisted. So I mean, it's pinched here and twisted this way, because these should be in line with each other going straight across. So that came this way. Right here it also kinked, and this was straight out from this in one straight line. So if that shows you how hard I hit, or I mean, that's a big hit to bend that bar. So yeah, the upper control arm is still tweaked too. So for right now, I have the lower control arm out, the knuckles out, and tie rod is unbolted, suspension's unbolted. I'm gonna put the camera down for a second and then take out the upper, because it's really hard to see up inside here. And then I will check back in just a minute and show you what the control arm looks like out of the vehicle. All right, my battery's gonna die, so I'm gonna call it a night. I have the upper control arm partly out. This bolt up on the top, I'm pretty sure is bent, because I'm having to fight it coming out. That used to be nice and loose and you could slide it right in and out of there. Along with that, the bushing pin is like halfway out of the bushing. So my guess is it's pinched right there, because this side is what took the impact. If it is bent, it's bent on the front side up here. So anyways, I'm gonna end it for today. I will check back in tomorrow with another battery, and we will continue tearing it apart.